welcome to Bridget's garden. I'm a bit croaky today, I'm afraid. I've had a bit of a cough. Today I'm in the Polytunnel. I am pricking out and potting on tomatoes and courgettes that have been inside the house. They're all looking a bit leggy now and really desperately need potting on. The problem is that I only have a couple of sunny windowsills in the house and my polytunnel isn't heated, and it's been really cold this month, so leaving them to it in the polytunnel hasn't really been an option. So it's got to the point where I can't really leave it any longer, so they're getting potted on. I'm going to put them in the polytunnel and maybe cover them with fleece or some kind of plastic. I haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do yet, because there definitely isn't room to take them all back in the house, so we'll see how we get on. Okay, here's my tomatoes, and as you can see they're really leggy, really outgrown this pot that they're in, this little tray. So I'm putting them into these pots. I mean, this is really time consuming work, and if you've got more room I would advise you to just plant like 1 or 2, maybe 3 seeds per pot. You can always take out the ones that aren't growing as well, and then you don't have to keep potting them on because it does take time. I haven't got the room, I haven't got a grow room, I've only got a couple of sunny windowsills in the house, so I just have to do what I have to do. So there we go. Putting them into these, I could do them in little ones and then pot them on again and again, but I just really haven't got the time. So putting them in these, and then I'm hoping that by the time they outgrow these they're ready to go into their final positions, and that'll be it. So I'm going to get on with that now. Just put a little bit of compost in the bottom of the pot. And then I use this little tool. You could use a pencil or a stick or whatever. Trowel's often too big. Sometimes the whole thing will poke out, but I find that the tray tends to break if you do that. So, oops, let's flick it out. There we go. And pot it in. And I've got my bag of compost. I'm just using ordinary compost, multi-purpose, from the garden centre. I'm hoping to eventually be self-sufficient in compost. I've got a little wormery going. It's not really producing much at the moment, and the garden compost has mostly gone on the ground and in outdoor pots. So we're using shop bought at the moment. I've got far more than I need, so I'm planning to go and do a couple of car boot sales and maybe sell the excess, and that hopefully will cover the cost of my compost. If there's any clumps, just massage them with your fingers and they tend to go. You can sieve it if you want, but again, I haven't got the time to be sieving compost. I sometimes do for seeds, but this will be fine. So the problem now is if I don't label them all, I'll forget which one's which. So I'm kind of putting them in rows and putting a label in one of them. I'm hoping that will work. you want it fairly firm, so when you are potting it up, press down quite firmly, and then you can just tap the edges to bring more loose compost around the edge. And then you can plant it quite deep, because these stems here, they'll grow little roots all the way up the stems, so you can plant it quite deep. As you can see, that's just got the little leaves showing, and that'll help the root system to become stronger as well, and we'll hopefully have nice, healthy, strong tomato plants. Another tip that I forgot to mention when you are potting on your tomatoes is you should just handle it either by the root ball or the leaves and not by the stem, because the stem is really delicate. If you break the stem, that's it, your plant's gone, it's dead. If you break a leaf off, it's not so bad, you can it'll grow a new leaf. So leaf and root ball is where you hold it, so don't try and like pull it out by the stem or anything like that. Okay, I have potted up just one of my little trays, and that's the amount of space it's now taking up in the polytunnel, so you can see my issue. I shall back out, show you how much room I have. Now, when I was buying the polytunnel, I read somewhere that whatever size you think you need, you should double it. And sadly, I didn't take that advice. And I should have. So there's one lot of tomatoes, and I still have this whole tray and that tray to go. I've literally only just emptied that tray, that little tray there. So there's lots more things in here. I think some things will have to go out. I've got a couple of, show you, we'll have a little tour of the polytunnel. Can't speak today whilst we're here. So I have some strawberries in pots in the polytunnel, and they're in here to give a bit of an earlier harvest, so hopefully they'll fruit before the ones outside. I've got another, I've just used it as a little table at the moment, but there are flowers on that one. So once that has flowered, fruited even, or started to come into fruit, I can put them outside, and that'll clear space for when I need to plant tomatoes in the ground. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just take some of the things outside and hope that they survive. I've got some peas in there that are little, I could just put them outside in some kind of cold frame. I've got sweet peas are not up yet. Celery just coming up. Then I've got a few bits in here. These could maybe go in a cold frame as well. I've got some kale and some chard. These are some of the courgettes that I've potted on. In there is all butternut, well, not butternut squash, different kinds of squash. There is some butternut squash. You can see there's one coming through there. And then in here are cucumbers, and I just had to leave these to it because there was no room in the house, and they have come up okay, but they'll need potting on before long. I've got my lettuce that has been here over winter, that could probably go outside, and a little peach tree, and then I've just bought a almond that can go outside because that needs potting on. A few herbs and things that were given to me that I've overwintered in here, some thyme, that can go out, my chard can go out, some more different type of kale there, and then rocket and radish in that one, radicchio in those, they can probably go out. And that's supposed to be artichoke, but I think it's mostly calendula that's just self-seeded in there. So either way, they need potting up as well. And then my little baby lettuces and more courgettes that I've just potted on. So yeah, I think we're going to have a bit of a clear out to make room for tomato babies. I've left that kale in there that's gone to flower as well. So I'm going to save some seeds. There's more outside. Let's see over there. And some around the corner as well. So, oh, there's some tomatoes over there as well. If you can, in that little thing. So I'm inundated with tomatoes. Maybe I should just be a little bit more restrained with my tomato seed sowing. Okay, so there we go, a little tour of the polytunnel. I shall get on with clearing it out and hopefully I'll have enough space for my little baby tomatoes. Right, I've cleared out quite a bit of the bits and pieces that were on this side of the polytunnel, and I've made a little bit more room. I've still only done another half of the tray. I've got 9 little pots of tomato seedlings there. I'm just gonna put some fleece over them and hope that they're okay. The weather forecast is not too bad this week. It's not below 5 degrees Celsius, so hoping that even if they're not particularly happy, they won't die. So yeah, we're just gonna have to hope for the best. There is manure still decomposing in here, so that is adding a little bit of heat. I've put some of the courgettes under plastic that is touching the plastic, and I'm not sure how good that is for it, so anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today because I've run out of steam. I've hit a wall and I need to go and take a break, so I'll probably leave that there for today and come back tomorrow and do some more and see how we go. Okay, so thanks for coming along with me for my little chores for today. And if you like these videos, as always, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll see you again next time.